Good morning, Dukes and Duchess of Dirtumberland. I hope you're doing well. I'm all right, bit under the weather, and yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a big ride today and bailed out of it because I just don't feel 100%. And sometimes you just got to listen to your body and do the right thing. And I think the right thing today is just to have a chill day, rest and get better. It was supposed to be a rougher day in Hell Ride. The weather here has been atrocious all week, so I know for a fact the trails are going to be grim. And yeah, my body isn't feeling the best. So yeah, be kind to yourself and chill. Plan is today instead to replace the bottom bracket on the Hagar. So yeah, the bottom bracket on this has been on there for about a year. And yeah, it felt a bit rough when I built the frame up again of this new frame. So I thought, right, it's time to get a new BB on there. So that's today's video, how to remove and install a SRAM DUB threaded bottom bracket. So that's what we've got here. We've got a SRAM DUB threaded bottom bracket. So to replace a bottom bracket, we're going to need the SRAM DUB bottom bracket wrench. It's quite a specific wrench for SRAM DUB. It is a different wrench for SRAM DUB T47 as well, annoyingly. So be careful, make sure you use the right wrench. 8mm hex wrench, ideally one with a bit of leverage on there. That's why I've got this one from Park Tools, nice long one. Makes getting the cranks off a little bit easier. A 2.5mm Allen key, that's just to get that last bolt on the tensioner sorted. And some grease. We're going to take the old cranks off, take the old bottom bracket out, put the new one in and put the cranks back on again. So let's crack on. I've got you on the chesty, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. First things first, we need to get a Park Tool 8mm crank remover. I think this is 8mm, pretty certain it is. Anyway, right, what I'm going to do first is just slacken off the chain. We'll pop the chain off. Oh, let's lock that out. So yeah, lock out the rear mech, pop the chain off there. Leave that to hang. So yeah, you can hear that's quite rough, so definitely needs replacing. So let's get this crank off. Sometimes dub bottom brackets and cranks have a bit of a reputation for being quite hard to get off and on, and yeah, it looks like I didn't quite put enough torque through that last time I put it on, but it's okay, we're all good. Right, so yeah, that's the bit where you get and it sort of sticks and you just have to get yourself past that. There we go. Right, so pop that out. And that's the crank arm off. Tap this out. Pop that spacer off. Let's give that a tap out. There we go. Sorted. Right. Just give that a little wipe. Plenty of grease on there still, but we'll just give it a wipe off. Just to get the worst off there. So I have a specific SRAM bottom bracket wrench here for dub. So that just sits over there and you tighten away or loosen away. We need to loosen off the drive side first. So that is the right hand one. So to tighten, you go right. So I now need to go anti-clockwise to loosen. Or clockwise, sorry. Clockwise to loosen. Let's pop that on. Now sometimes this needs a little bit of persuasion. Yeah, that's going to need some persuading. Go. And off by hand now. So yeah, that's the thing with dub. It sometimes can be a little bit stiff to first remove, but away it comes. Happy days. Cool. Right, so let's get the other side off, the non-drive side. Okay, so just like the drive side, we're tapping away from the frame let's slot that on. Get in there, bugger. There we go. Right. There we are. Sorted. Come out by hand now. Happy days. This is a good opportunity to get behind the BB area. Oops. And give it a good clean. We'll get in there as well. Give it a wipe out. Get any old excess grease out of there. Okay, so before we install the bottom bracket, we're going to grease up the threads in there. Just make sure there's loads of grease in there. We'll grease up the threads on the BB and also on the internal and inside here, just to make sure everything runs smoothly. In the box, it comes with a 4.5mm spacer, but I know from the bottom bracket I've got at the moment, I've been running a 2.5mm spacer. So that spacer just sits on there on the drive side, just to keep a nice space between, you can see that there, space between the crank itself and the bottom bracket. So yeah, let's get the grease in and then we'll get this installed. Using Park Tool grease, PPL1. Just going to pop some inside there, and then I'm going to use an old toothbrush just to get it right into the grooves. Get into the groove, boy, you gotta prove your loop for me. Okay, that's that side done. It's a squidge of grease in there. And brush it around. Fill in all of those grooves nicely. Okay, I'm just going to pop some on the toothbrush and just pop it right in to there, just on the inside of the BB area, just so we've got a nice little bit of coverage in there as well. Sorted. And a little bit of grease on the bottom bracket itself. Okay, so this tightens this way. Let's come down a bit closer. So what we want to do is just make sure that the thread is sitting nicely and flush. So we're just going to back and forth it just to make sure the threads are engaged correctly. And just a little bit of grease on there. Get that brush to get it right into the threads. There's no spacer on the non-drive side on this bike, on this setup. So I don't need to worry about any spacers on here. We just need to worry about getting it in. That's what she said. Right, we're going with the left-hand side now. Now the clever amongst you will have realised the fatal error that I've made in putting the drive side in first. You're supposed to put the non-drive side in first, but because you may be able to see in there, you've got the tube that the axle threads through. So, but fuck it, you only live once, YOLO. So I'm just gonna try getting this on here. So again, we're just going to be careful not to get the threads in wrong. Or will it? Oh no, here we go. We're in. We're in. It's going on now. There we go. Got lucky. Right. Okay. Cool. And tight. So we're just going to hand tighten it down and then tap it out. Hand tighten it down and then tap it out with the hammer again, just to get that final bit of torque in there. I think I deliberately didn't torque it too hard last time because I knew I'd be replacing the BB soon anyway. That's my excuse. Some grease inside the BB tube. So a good old dollop in there. Get in there with a toothbrush. Give it a good scooch around. Perfect. Happy days. Whoops, still got some on there. Big dollop on there still. Right, that'll do. So I'm going to thread this through. We've got a 2.5mm spacer. I'm just going to set that over there. Make sure it slots into the bottom bracket nicely, which it does. And then we're going to grab our crank. I'll just give that a little grease up in there. I might just give it a little clean while I've got it off. It's always a good opportunity to get in there, get rid of some of that muck from the inside that builds up, particularly behind the crank arm itself. It seems to be the hardest bit to clean when the bike's on. Okay, so making sure that this arm is opposite to that one, because what we don't want to do is end up with them both the same size. I know it's teaching grannies to suck eggs, but I have done it before. So 8mm, gently tighten on to start off with, just to get everything on there. Make sure things are sitting flush. I'm just going to go around this side. Make sure the spacers are sitting flush that side. Yep, perfect. Excellent. Right. And tighten on here again. So we've got no play in this whatsoever, so I'm confident we don't need to tighten that up anymore. But I'm just going to get a little bolt at the back there. We're just going to screw that in, just to make sure it's not going anywhere. It literally just has to be tight enough so that these two, so you've got two spaces between here, they're touching. You don't need them to be squashed together, you just need to be touching. And we're not quite touching, so it's going to give it a little bit more. And it should now be touching. Yep, spot on, that's now touching. So I'm happy with that. Chain goes back on. So there nicely chain. Put tension back in, re-engage the clutch. Happy days. Oh my days, I've literally just realised while I've been sat editing the video that I completely forgot to end the video. So that's fitting a SRAM DUB bottom bracket. All the tools are there. It's actually a 2.5mm hex key for the tensioner, and 8mm Allen key, 2.5mm Allen key, SRAM DUB specific wrench, and some lube, and of course a SRAM DUB bottom bracket. I'm running a 6873 road width bottom bracket, and yeah, there you go. So stay safe, keep it supple side down, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.